Welcome back to another episode of One Up, One Down Adventures. Today we're setting out to prove that you don't need to drop $1,000 on a spearfishing setup to get some good fish. We're in 25 feet of water. We got my old plastic fins. We got the Hawaiian sling with no reel line or anything like that. And we're gonna see if we can't get on some nice mangoes and hogfish to cook up for dinner. We got Luke, we got Alec, we got Max, also known as Salt State Spearfishing. We've been filming his intro. I'll leave the link to his channel in the description. We're about to go diving tomorrow. I don't have my carbon fins, so we're going back to the roots. Plastic fins, baby. And I'm going to use the cheapest gun that I have. We're going to see how well we can do.
Hawaiian sling, baby.
Oh, wait, is that working?
Yeah.
Hawaiian sling, plastic fins. We're going to see what kind of fish we can get tomorrow. I'll see you guys in the water.
Welcome back underwater, everybody. If you can't tell, I am a little bit sick as I'm recording this audio, but this video was super cool, super fun. We were in like 25 feet of water maybe the whole time, doing some super shallow diving with a Hawaiian sling. This is the first time I'd ever shot a Hawaiian sling, so I am trying to get a little bit of test shooting in, shooting at these little grunts that were around. But of course, the couple dives that I actually want to shoot at the grunts, they're nowhere in sight. So I have to actually lay on the bottom and scratch and grunt for them. These fins are definitely noticeably not as good as the carbons. Probably not, crazy enough to justify the almost $350 price difference between a carbon fin and a plastic fin, but nevertheless, find these grunts here after doing some grunting. Look at that. You find the grunts from grunting. And I'm lining up on them, and of course, I'm about to completely whiff because I've never shot a Hawaiian sling before, so get ready for that. Completely whiff. Yeah, it is rough going. I take a couple more test shots here. This time, I'm not laying on the bottom, which makes it even less likely that I'm actually going to hit one of these grunts, and I completely whiff. At least that time I kind of hit it, but you really got to get a broadside shot with these Hawaiian slings, because if you don't, the shaft just doesn't carry enough velocity and doesn't have enough mass to actually punch through. So the broadside shots are really important so that all of the energy of the shaft goes towards punching through the fish, and it doesn't get redirected by a fish that's angled away from you, if that makes sense. So missed a few of these shots, and I started diving the actual ledge where the fish were. So here's the first real, it's not the first real dive of the day, but it's the first real dive that I'm going to show you. Obviously we had a lot of dives this day that just go down, come up, go down, come up, no fish. When you're diving shallow, that's just the case. You have to move around a lot. But we found this really nice ledge that held a lot of these almost legal female hogfish. You can see that one start to swim up to me. There's some of these around here. And we were pretty confident that some males would come in. And that's what happened. You can see right to my right, this male hogfish starts to come in. I fire off my shot when he's broadside, and he takes off with the spear. That's another thing about the Hawaiian sling. They can just leave with your shaft. So you got to make sure you have either good viz or a good breath hold so that you're able to recover that shaft in that fish. I barely got him, but that is my first fish on the Hawaiian sling. You can see he's just barely on the top of his head. That hogfish just turned male. You can almost barely tell that it is a male, but it's got that pronounced snout, and it's very small for a male, but still legal. We're getting down here for another shot at some hogfish. This is actually on my way back to the boat with this male that I had just shot. Floating around down here by the ledge, that group of females comes in again. I keep grunting, hoping that maybe there's another male with them or there's another male around. And this is a bunch of female hogfish. This is 8 of them just kind of hanging out around me. I was super certain that there would be another male hogfish that would present itself given just the number of other hogs around. Just gotta kind of wait it out. These grunts are probably a little bit too aggressive, but they got the job done. Nothing. No male hogfish with this group of female hogs. But on the way back to the boat, seeing that many, I'm going to take another drop. So, another drop on the way down here at the Hawaiian Sling. I'm still trying to figure out a way to have the Hawaiian Sling on after my duck dive that isn't awkward. I'm on my way down here, and pretty much as soon as I get to the bottom, I saw that nice hogfish. It's right behind me here. You don't really have to rush when you're dealing with hogfish. They're going to be around. They're not going to just like leave the area, especially if there's not too much pressure. This ledge didn't really have that much pressure in terms of fishing, even though it was shallow, so they weren't that crazy. Just gotta wait for that guy that I saw as I was descending to come back in. And this coral is also super cool. The red kind of seaweed looking coral. It's just everywhere here. It's not really a thing as much down south where I normally dive, so that was pretty cool. There's that hogfish, comes right back in, able to blast him through the cheek, and this was a much better shot here, straight through the eyes, and another just barely male hogfish. You'll be able to see when I show him off the camera here that it is in fact a male, but they like just became male hogfish. But that's 2 fish for the fryer. Now this is a super duper cool clip. On my way down, looking maybe for a third hogfish, still on my way back to the boat, and you can see that this ledge does actually like present a good relief from the bottom, probably 3 feet of relief, maybe 4, honestly, off the bottom. And that's where these hogfish were congregating. You can see all that red coral I was talking about earlier, which is again not something we get as much of down south. And you can also see, as I'm looking over this ledge, how much relief there is. Now, we were seeing some little mackerel throughout the day, like some smaller pelagic species come through, but this is absolutely wild. What's about to swim through, kind of turning my head, I'm grunting, which I think what attracted it. Just all the grunts, because these fish are not afraid of grunting at all. Kind of just looking around, and boom. It's a nice permit, comes in and leaves. Now, I didn't even bother following that thing because I've got a Hawaiian Sling. I'm just going to lose my shaft. And we didn't have a backup shaft, so there was no point in me even like doing anything about that. It was just super cool to see a permit of that size come in this shallow on natural bottom. Because we know that they're on artificial bottom this shallow, like wrecks and stuff, because the wrecks provide like 8 feet of relief off the bottom, and they'll hang out on that. But to see them on the natural stuff is super cool. All the hogfish around, and we're coming up here after seeing that permit. It's pretty cool. I told the guys, I was like, yo guys, there's a permit around, because they had spear guns with reels, so they'd be able to actually land it if they saw it. On my way down here, kind of hanging out on the ledge. And one of the cool things about these plastic fins is that they really challenged my breath holds a little bit, because it was harder to kick them, which meant that I was using more oxygen on the ways down and up. So I'm kind of hanging out on the bottom, and I have to be super mindful to not move around too much, because I just don't have as much of a breath hold as I would normally have with my carbon fins. So I'm perched up on the ledge, looking up and towards the rest of the reef. You can again see how much relief this ledge actually provides, which is super cool to see this shallow. Grunting around, looking around. There's not that many cracks in this part of the ledge where like mangoes and grouper can hide, but I can also sometimes look in those cracks, and I'm just pulling myself along the bottom with my hands here, trying not to kick the fins and use up too much of my reserve tank of oxygen, if you will. Looking around, and I can kind of tell that this dive isn't really it. I'm not really seeing that many hogfish. I'm not really seeing any big mangoes. So I start moving a little bit more to see if I can't just like get get a little closer to something that I can actually shoot. These hogfish like the dust that I kicked up from the fins, because even if I'm dragging myself along, the fins still move through the water, and it kicks up a little bit of dust. Way less dust than if I was to actually kick the fins, but still a little bit of dust. Looking around, nothing but those little hogfish, and I head back to the surface because there's not much there for me on this particular dive. But on the next dive there will be, because I picked up all this little bit of dust. Try to shoot this guy first, and I missed. They're talking about the pelagic little mackerel coming through. Take another dive right on like basically the same area that I had just kicked up a ton of dust on that 2-minute dive, and brought our way down here, and I dove slightly off of it, so I'm away from the ledge now. Right back before I was right on the ledge, which I think spooked some of the mangoes, but now I'm kind of sitting closer to the area that I kicked up all that dust. Doing my little grunts, and this mango comes right in, able to blast him. He takes off of my shaft, but because it's shallow enough, I'm able to chase him down on the same breath hold, grab my shaft, and land my first mango on the Hawaiian sling, which is pretty cool. Get him up to the boat, and obviously chuck him in. I quickly want to thank the sponsor of today's video, BetterBoat. They offer a range of marine and boat care products, but today they sent me their deck scrubbing brush, boat soap, and their marine grease, which I use on the jack plate and trailer wheels later. The brush is an absolute lifesaver, and the soap smells so good. I don't have to get on all fours to scrub my deck anymore. Super nice of them to send all this stuff to me. Keeps the boat nice and fresh and clean, and free of the smell of fish blood, because we do land a lot of fish on this thing. What you got?
Dude, I saw him and I shot him.
Oh, stoned him.
Never
Max shot that one.
Where's
that fish? There you go. Max got a nice one.
I don't know if he's 19. I don't know if he's...
There you go.
Yeah, baby.
So that's a nice male. Alright, back to your regularly scheduled content. We moved spots. We're now at this even cooler ledge that has all of these like cracks and gaps for the mangoes and the grouper to kind of hide in. Grouper were out of season this day, but there were some really big mangoes on this ledge, and I refused to grab a spear gun. I was wanting to hunt them with the Hawaiian sling and challenge myself, which made it really hard for me to actually land them. But you can see right here, I load up and some big mangoes come my way, and the mangoes don't give you as easy of a broadside shot as the hogfish, so you really got to take your time with them. Big mangoes come my way, get a broadside shot, boom, and I completely whiff. That would have been like double the size of the mango that I had shot earlier. But it's okay, because they're all down there in the ledge, and I just have to get them. One's in the ledge here. Try to take the top-down shot. Doesn't work. Another one here. Swimming towards me. Kind of get puppy fever here. I don't know which one I want. Eventually settle on that one and completely miss. That shaft took a while to recover. Alright, so take another dive after missing several mangoes. It's surprising that they're still around, but they don't really have anywhere else to go other than this ledge. They can go up under the ledge, but the kids were hunting the ledge with dive lights, so nowhere was really safe for these guys. And some of them were still out and about, like these guys. Just kind of grunting as I crawl over the ledge because I dove kind of off of it. Crawling towards them, loading up, and boom, put a shot straight through them. I'm able to land my first decent sized mango on the Hawaiian sling. So all in all, 4 fish on the Hawaiian sling my first time. I would call that a success, and now we're gonna go scalloping. Alright, well, we finished spearfishing. We got actually a pretty good cooler. Max had a good day. He looked strange.
I had a good day.
Yeah, Luke had a good day. Got some hogs, some mangoes.
We're gonna go scallop, finish out this catch and cook.
Alright, that's all I got for the hunting part, except for some of these scallops that we gathered. But I would call that a pretty resounding success. For having a kit that costs maybe about $200, including the wetsuit, we pretty much slayed it for the day. 2 hogfish, 2 mangoes, and a bunch of scallops. Throwing those scallops in the cooler so that we can take them back home and put them in the oven. And now for the cook part of the catch and cook. We're going to do just a really easy fried fish with green beans and smashed potatoes, as well as scallops on the half shell. Didn't get much footage of the scallops on the half shell, but we're going to show you how we prepare all of this fish. First, fillet them up. Got 4 fish here, which is more than enough to feed all 4 divers, plus a couple of my family members also had some bites. Filleting them up, skinning them, deboning them, and then cutting them into little nuggets so that we can throw those nuggets into a bowl with some Frank's Red Hot hot sauce. Kind of just marinate those, hit them with salt, pepper, and then I've got this garlic and herb seasoning I'm using, but you can really just use your favorite seasoning. You can do Cajun or whatever you want. Then I dump flour into the bowl and just toss it until they're completely caked in flour. Put the nuggets that are caked in flour in oil on medium-high heat. Let those cook for, 5 minutes. Then you just eat them. You can do whatever dipping sauce you want. Me personally, I do them with lemon. There's the green beans and the smashed potatoes. I will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching.
Alright, so we're going diving tomorrow, and one of the things that has been really causing us trouble recently is the jack plate. It won't go down, so we're going to re-grease it. It hasn't seen grease in a long time, but now we have grease gun from BetterBoat and marine grease. So we got a nipple right here. Just put it right in there. And we push. Boom. And as we push this grease in, you can see on the top here, it's coming out. Do the same thing on the other side, and we're good to go tomorrow.